Good evening. My name's Dave Hansen. I'm the chairman of the MIT Enterprise Forum of Texas. On behalf of the Enterprise Forum, I'd like to welcome you all here. Tonight we're going to have a great program on clean water, and we've got 5 panelists who are experts in this area, and they're going to be talking to you about the future of clean water and also about some of the technologies that you can use to create clean water. Before we get started, though, I would like to spend a little bit of time talking about the MIT Enterprise Forum. Many of you I haven't seen before or are new to the Enterprise Forum, so I'd like to spend a little bit of time just describing what the MIT Enterprise Forum is, and also like to say thank you to our sponsors at that time as well as our sponsor for tonight's event, which is AECOM. All right. You can see that we have a really impressive list of speakers and panelists for tonight. And Michael Bloom will be our moderator, and he'll be telling you more about the speakers as we get into the program. MIT Enterprise Forum. The Houston chapter is one of 21 worldwide chapters. And what we try and do is create inspiring and great programs on technology, entrepreneurship, and economics. And we do this with flagship programs like you have here tonight. We also do it with a new venture clinic where we have startup companies come in, present their business plan to a panel of experts, business experts, and then we give them feedback on their presentation as well as their strategy. It helps polish them as they get ready to go out and present for money. The third thing that we do with the MIT Enterprise Forum is we have networking socials, so you can get together and meet some really interesting people and talk about a number of interesting things. And we usually get about 120 people coming out for our networking socials, so it's a nice opportunity. The other thing I should mention about the MIT Enterprise Forum, it was first started by MIT alums in a way of giving back to their communities. It has since evolved to where you do not need to be an MIT alum to be part of our organization. And I'm a good example of that. I didn't go to MIT. I went to Berkeley. I'm a Berkeley radical. And they let me be chairman of the MIT Enterprise Forum. So, you know, bottom line is if you want to get involved with our organization, you do not, and come to our events, you do not need to be an MIT alum. But you will find a lot of MIT alums coming to our events. All right, I'd like to talk a little bit about our flagship programs, the upcoming ones. The flagship programs, I think, are what really make us unique in the Houston community. The MIT name allows you to get some great speakers, and it puts you on the map as being a great organization. Coming up here, we have, well, tonight we have the future of fresh water. We've got a program coming up on November 9th. It's going to be on the vulnerability of the electrical grid to things like solar storms from the sun, so geomagnetic storms, a single nuclear blast, high altitude nuclear blast, and also some EMP devices that can be created and delivered that are the size of suitcases but can do a lot of damage. David Becker is organizing this program for us, and I was, you know, when he first started telling me about this, I said, no, that can't be right. That can't be right. You can't do that much damage. You can't take out the electrical grid for half the United States with one bomb. But the fact is you can. And can you imagine what would happen if you didn't have electricity in half the United States, no water, no gas, no food delivery? And it wouldn't be easily fixed. So there's a really huge vulnerability here. And we're going to be talking about that. We've got Bill Radasky, who's an EMP expert. He's an Air Force graduate and has worked in the government on EMPs, electromagnetic pulses. And we have Bob Hall, who's a Texas state senator who's campaigning to harden the Texas electrical grid. And I think that you'll find this a very interesting program and something that you may not have really understood enough. I know I've been shocked, and it's something that I feel like I'd like to let other people know about. In January, we have our business forecast luncheon at the Federal Reserve Bank. We got John Duca again, and we'll have a senior economist from BBVA Compass. That has sold out for the last 4 years, so when we open up registration for that, if you're at all interested, it's a great program. Be sure and register early because it does sell out. And then in February, we're going to try and do a program with the Baker Institute on innovations in education. So we have Bonnie Dunbar, who's a former astronaut, who's in charge of STEM program, was at U of H, now she's at Texas A&M. We've got Rod Page, who's a former Secretary of Education under George Bush, and will be speaking, and we're lining up a series of other speakers right now as well. So that should be a very interesting program. And you can see that we have a lot of other things that are in the mill, and so keep tuned. The other thing I want to mention is we do try and videotape our programs. Like here tonight, we're videotaping this program. And we videotaped actually quite a few of our past programs. And so if you've missed any of them and you have interest in any of these areas, we've had Rod Canyon come in and talk about starting and growing compact computer. Rod said this is the best presentation he's ever made on compact. I was surprised to have him say that, but we had Russ Capper interviewing him, and it just really went very smoothly. And it's a really nice story. We've had Bill Higgs come in and talk about creating Mustang Engineering, the engineering company here in town, created from nothing to $1 billion company. So we've had some great speakers come in. Some of my favorites are the asteroid program with Rusty Schweiger and Ed Liu talking about detecting and deflecting asteroids on a collision course for Earth. I find it actually a very similar scenario there. You could do a lot of damage with an asteroid. Are we doing anything about it? We should be putting up a satellite to see where all the asteroids are or not. And by the same token, we're not hardening our electrical grid. The military has, but we're not hardening our electrical grid. There could be a lot of damage. But very similar scenario. Small chance of it happening, but if it does happen, it's a big event. So anyway, there's a lot of great programs here. Probably our most popular program was with Donald Sadoway, talking about his new liquid metal battery for the electrical grid. It's gotten like 16,000 views on YouTube. So he's just fabulous. You'll really enjoy watching that program. So check out our videos and tell your friends about it. The last thing I want to do is say thank you to our sponsors and AEC.com for tonight's event, but also our annual sponsors, Westlake, Houston Business Journal, BBVA Compass, Farnsworth and Von Berg, Halloran Advertising, the Business Makers Radio Show. Russ has been participated in a number of our programs. Brandit, who organized a lot of our networking socials, the MIT Club, and Joe Guyman, who oftentimes takes photographs at a lot of our events. And I want to say particular thanks to the Houston Technology Center. We work very closely with them. We hold a number of our events there. Marianne Maldonado's here tonight. They allow us to have our new venture clinic at the Houston Technology Center. And so it's a really nice venue for us and very convenient, and we really appreciate their support. So with that, I'd like to get into our program tonight. And I'd like to, first of all, thank Brian Williams, who organized this program. Brian's been involved with the MIT Enterprise Forum and our executive committee for about 2 years now. And when we started planning out events, Brian raised his hand and said, I'd like to organize an event on fresh water. And so it's taken a lot of work, and we really appreciate everything that he's done tonight into assemble this group of panelists and moderator to make this event possible. So Brian, would you please stand up and let's just say thank you. All right. I'd like to start off by introducing Michael Bloom, who's going to be our moderator. And I won't introduce all the panels, so I'll let Michael do that. But I would like to introduce Michael and tell you a little bit about him. Michael's received engineering degrees from Syracuse and Drexel. And he's a licensed engineer at 7 different states in the United States, to include Texas. He's a manager for the sustainability practice of R.G. Miller Engineers, which is a Houston-based civil and environmental engineering firm here in Houston. Michael plans and does permits and design water systems, including those for reuse, storm water management systems, wastewater treatment, and drinking water supplies. He's former chair of the Greater Houston Partnership on Water Issues. He chaired the Watershed Management Committee and vice chair of the Government Affairs Committee of the Water Environmental Association of Texas. He served as a moderator for a number of different conferences. And so it's my pleasure tonight to introduce Michael Bloom and have him be the moderator for our program tonight. So Michael. Okay.
Well, again, thanks so much for having me. Brian, especially thank you for the invitation, and David, and I guess Nick Tillman is the program committee chair. Thanks to all of you for having me. I'm going to go ahead and introduce the 4 panel members in the order in which they're going to provide their initial views of things. All 4 of y'all can come on up as I introduce you. Jonathan will start. After the 4 presentations, so you'll get kind of different perspectives from the 4 speakers, those will all be about 15 minutes each. Then we'll have some moderated Q&A where I get to throw softballs or hardballs. And then we'll open it up to Q&A at the end. We're not going to get out of here in time for the debate, but I urge everyone to check out the Saturday Night Live version of the debate, because I think it'll be better than the real one.